because you were doing so well. Like, chat was saying something about Italy and I didn't want to look because I was like, oh, it's inevitable. SRI is just about to take out 2 Sicilies. Then I look down there and suddenly SRI doesn't exist. And it's gone green and yellow instead. I think the Germans are going to kick the French in. I think how the Germans do here is going to be entirely dependent on whether this deal with Russia holds. I think it's more likely, I think it's going to be easier for the Germans to do this, because the Germans have managed to get all of their nations united and strong. Germany, Austria, and Bulgaria have all gained a lot of territory. Sweden can easily expand into Norway, and Ukraine will do Ukraine things and just pump out armies of soldiers. And then losing this southern front, especially now there's Reichspakt that gained it instead. That's going to change things, because that's adding another whole nation to their side. Can the Italian Republic peacefully reunite Italy? I think they can. There's United Italy. Stable democracy. So, no. At least not via that path. Unless those are just needed to unlock something else. Yeah, this. Risorgimento. Russia, join CoPro. Political power, war support, stability. Sicilian generals. Requires 2 Sicilies to not exist. Stable Italian Republic. Italian irredentialism. Claims on all of the territory. And then Sardinian generals require Sardinia to not exist. So no, I don't think there's a peaceful way of doing it. So basically Reichspakt would have to go up against the Entente. And considering how we know certain factions view each other at the moment, I would not be that surprised if that happens. Endure will become Austrian Empire proper, lets them go ham in Italy. Yeah, but they haven't gone that way. They went the Federation. Huzzah! Can't the Entente land in African west coast and then bridge over the Mediterranean? Actually, yeah, that's true. They could. But that would require them to have naval superiority in the Mediterranean to, you know, shift troops around. And particularly, well, Union of Britain's going to have the problems with the German Empire, because in this, Germany does have a really good navy. And that usually has these two fighting each other pretty significantly. The Entente will have 2 Sicilies and nationalist France. Fleets in the Mediterranean, potentially. And now that Egypt and Suez is controlled by Reichspakt, if the Entente ends up with war with them, then Africa becomes a major war zone. And then if they can break control of Suez, or less likely Gibraltar, then they can start flooding ships in. And that will be the American and the Canadian navies, both of which are very, very big. I mean, this is the problem that Third International usually has, is you start relative parity against Germany with the Union of Britain's navy, but then you also have to face off against the Canadian fleet and the American fleet, and then you start to get overwhelmed. In multiplayer with CoPro being more of a factor, you probably do need to keep a fleet in the Pacific, but the Japanese AI is just so bad at attacking America that you rarely do in single player. But then again, they're also going to need to keep their fleets around Australasia, because I am really expecting this to be just one massive battlefield. It's going to be down to submarine control. If the Entente can lock down the Japanese supply routes through good submarine strikes, then they could probably do this. Surface battles here would probably favour Japan a bit more because Insulindia is on their side. There's some really large naval bases, particularly in Batavia, which they can use to repair, and Insulindia has naval bases, whereas Australasia isn't quite as well equipped for naval construction, though they can easily build that stuff. In 2 minutes you will read this comment and say, "See, 2 minutes, Marshal." Yes, exactly. I was doing well against the two Sicilies, but I was too zoomed in the battle to try to finish it quickly before the war. I didn't see the war message, and when I did it was too late. Yeah, that sucks. "30th of July. Still nothing. Militarist revival. Extend the line. Russia declared war on Azerbaijan. So that's going for their oil fields in Baku. So militarist revival is actually one of the really big German ones, because yeah, that gets renewed militarism, which allows them to actually start recruiting soldiers. Massive boost to the amount of manpower they have. And then destroy the Internationale is the next one. Well, maneuvers in Alsace-Lothringen. Requires armed conflicts in Lorraine, which I'm guessing is a decision. Meanwhile, Commune of France extending the line. So they are trying to fortify the Belgian front. And then otherwise they need to go down this. So who's going to start this fight? They have it available. But at the moment, I mean, honestly, both of them are just 2 focuses away. So we're like, guessing these focuses are still 70 days. I don't actually know. I was literally just looking at it. Where is it? 35, 56. 56. So they have reduced the times on the focuses a bit, which is good. Germany's navy is already stronger than UAB, and that's without yoinking the GEA's navy. With the GEA's fleet, Germany has about 150 ships more than UAB. True. So what is France going to choose? Are they going to try and go for an early war? Or are they going to try and gamble away as much time as possible? I don't know what benefits them the most. Probably early. Because the later they leave this, the bigger Germany, Austria and Italy's industrial advantage will get over them. France has 190 factories. Germany has 268. 149, 153. So Britain is about the same size as Austria. Britain has also not taken a focus for a while. Okay, there we go. That changed. Still no focus. Synthetic rubber for the Germans. Still no focus. And there we go. Demand Alsace-Lorraine. So France is indeed going for an early war. Why are the Germans allowing the Russians to get so strong? Surely a late war with the... It's because Germany's downfall is always a 2-front war. So they really want the Russians and Co-Pro to focus mostly on the Entente, so that they can focus on killing the French. That's what it is. And I get it. Like, if Germany's Eastern Front is secure, they can focus the entirety of the German military might on the Third Internationale. and that will be quite significant superiority at this point. They just need to not get complacent. Oh. King of France is justifying. Right, so while that's ticking down, I'm going to go and grab some fresh tea. So I'll be back in just a second. I'll leave things open so you can see what's happening. And I'll be as quick as I can. And there we go. I am back again. And I made it in time. I was like seriously rushing because I was so worried that I wouldn't get here in time, but no, it was fine. All is good. See mystery. What is CoPro's advantage in that deal? So the thing that they gained was the Reichspakt said yes to Russia rejoining the Legation Pact, which gives them some kind of advantage. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but basically it means the Legation Council now includes Russia, so Russia can decide on affairs affecting China, and I think just generally gives them more power in this area. And then the other thing is the Reichspakt were helping the CoPro in the Chinese wars. So Anqing was Japan's favoured faction, and Reichspakt were helping Anqing as well against Kuomintang. Although even combined, the two of them did lose to the Third Internationale in left Kuomintang. So Germany so far has upheld their end of the bargain. It remains to be seen whether Russia does. Okay, so Ethiopia's war has ended and Somalia came out on top. That does not really affect us, though, as I don't believe any of these are in anybody's factions. No. And there it is, Demont Alsace-Lorraine has happened. What will the German response be? How about no? They're probably going to delay it as long as they can. Or not. Oh yeah, 11 days. Alsace war. So they will have to accept this by the 25th of October. Engineer companies. Nice. The Alsace Ultimatum. After months of low-intensity skirmishes and diplomatic game playing on the German-French border, the two behemoths are poised on the edge of potentially the most brutal conflict mankind has known since the dark days of the Weltkrieg. That's also a lot of naval experience. And there it is. Commune of France has declared war and hostilities are immediately announced. Loads of teams are joining both sides. Weltkrieg has happened. More things are joining. It's going to be so nice when that's just a single pop-up. Jeez. Alright, and immediately there is a great deal of nothing happening on that combined frontage. We are seeing a couple of tanks here and there. None actually on the French side. All of those tanks are German. So where is the French armour? Here we go, naval battles are already taking place. With British destroyers, no sorry, Italian submarines in the English Channel. That's a dangerous place for them to be. And then we've got some... no, sorry, Irish submarines. Irish. I was getting the flag wrong. So the first thing I did notice earlier on, I can talk about this now because it's not really giving anything away, is the very first focus that Ireland went for was the Sea Wolves. They went down this path super freaking early. So they've probably been they've basically done my Greek strategy and just built up a massive amount of ships, I would imagine. And if we take a look, yeah, look at all the dockyards in each of their provinces. Ireland has gone at full grease on this playthrough, so I'm expecting to see some really, really solid Irish... Ah, there's the French tanks. Okay. Some very solid Irish naval play here. And judging by the number of ships that I saw the Germans had, although actually looking at it, I'm seeing that the British also have a lot of ships. An awful lot. Oh, here we go. We have an attack. The German tanks are on the move, and they've broken through! Already, the Germans have a breakthrough north of Amiens. And so far, the French are trying desperately to pin them, but if the tanks just keep on going, they could break across the river straight away, and then basically it's an opening to Paris from there. We've got Marines already pouring through. The French have nothing even close to enough troops on this front line. France is just... They're dead already. I don't really understand how France thought they were going to hold with just 2 men on each province. 1 man on each province down here. Like, the Germans are just pummeling through this, and they're already on the outskirts of Paris. Oh man. It's over. This is already over. Union of Britain will be fighting this one alone. German Marines marching into Paris right now. And there it is. Fall of Paris. 7th of November 1939. And an encirclement as well. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. They've invested way too much stuff in trying to take down the Swedes. In what is a really balmy decision. Because this is the early war. Both sides have hundreds and hundreds of ships. How are they expecting to get all of those troops back home again? That's true, we can now look at templates because they're on the front line. So yeah, the Germans have gone for a pretty standard heavy tank template. It kind of looked like the French had light tanks, which doth concern me a little. They've gone for, yeah, super motorized, not even very big. What has the French been doing? Well, this war is already over. Union of Britain will probably hold out for a bit longer just because it's a freaking island. Spain has all of their troops down here in Morocco because they were not expecting France to just roll over. France has...
Hey, Mordred.
Hello.
So Bulgaria has a bug and they're not able to join Reichspakt, so we have to rehost and edit the save.
Okay.
So there's going to be a bit of a delay.
Yeah, no worries. Sounds good. So I'm going to throw in a quick save here just so I have my own copy of this. So we are going to be taking a pause here. So they have taken out Stockholm and split Sweden in half. And in fact, if France falls, France's troops over here will still be over here because they're on foreign soil. You only lose the troops that are in your own territory at surrender. So there will be a bunch of French in exile, so France could continue to fight in exile, using Norway basically as a base. Although I don't think that there's much of a chance of Germany and Austria not just turning around and then supporting the Swedes here. Because there are already quite a few Germans in place, and this one tank is severely overextended. This Ukrainian unit in Nurkoping wants to move north and then just cut this off. Because at the moment we have additional French forces coming in. And that, by the way, is where the French heavy tanks are. And they have been building them. They are... yeah, they're alright. But they're fighting in occupied territory at the moment. Okay, so we have got... Irish submarines facing off against German submarines trying to defend Danish shipping. Irish are mostly catching Danes. Oh, a couple of Germans there. Loads of things coming through the English Channel, which is... it's not a good place to put submarines. There's the Union of Britain's fleet coming out to face off against 7 Irish submarines. Okay, I'm really curious. I want to know what those subs are. Now, before I do this, I'm going to take a quick look at people's intel ledger. You have a 90% intel on... oh no, that's France on Germany. I want to know Germany on Ireland. 29, no. Austria. Hello, Austria. Wow, this is not going to be easy to check. On Ireland. Okay. So I can't really check what their ships are doing because ship positioning, particularly submarine positioning, is not something I want to give away. Meanwhile, we have got the German Marines, the German heavy armour, just going for the surrounds. France has already been completely cut off from that last river defence, and I would really hope to start seeing some Spanish troops swarming back home. If I was Spain, I'd even be tempted to just abandon the attacks on Morocco. Because they're going to come across there otherwise. We've also got Irish destroyers. Oh no, British destroyers. Irish submarines, okay. I was going to say, wow, they're doing both? That's impressive. And France is about to be cut in half. Here come the British. Too little too late, and they're going to be cut off just up here in the north of the country, but they're basically just going to arrive in time to do a Dunkirk. Because that's all they're going to be able to do Switzerland joined the Co-Pro and are probably regretting that. This British garrison unit is coming in to hold on to La Rochelle. This is a very nice counter-attack to try and pin, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Who's going to get there first? Okay, another pinning attack coming in, but they just don't have enough organization because these guys all just arrived by ship. And there we go. Germany has now cut France in half. And Britain is now the one being surrounded and destroyed. Oh no. Another 6 divisions here. Another bunch in Cherbourg. Cherbourg is a port. You know what, Britain? I would just get out of there. That is not worth fighting for. And we've got French submarines facing off against the Irish submarines. Finnish submarines against the British destroyers. I'm surprised that there is so much submarine warfare going on in the English Channel. Because the problem with the English Channel is it's a shallow sea, which means that submarines are twice as easy to detect, and therefore twice as easy to sink. Spain is completely out of fuel. That's not good. Germany's alright. You're alright. You're alright. 10 days of fuel. Are they going to be able to capitulate? They've retaken Stockholm. So they're like their one advantage. Oh no, they're about to take Stockholm again. So I guess they lost the light tank. But then these two Swedes could very easily just cut this off again at Norrköping. We have Irish submarines in the Baltic. We have the French Navy. Yeah, so France is trying to bring some troops home, but just too little too late. Bordeaux has fallen. If they take Bayonne, then they're going to have to go all the way through to the Mediterranean to bring these troops back again. And France has managed to set up a very, very thin line to try and hold the frontier against the Germans and the Austrians. And they are still guarding... Oh! And there it is! Empire of Japan has just declared war on Germany. Right, I did read that right. Yes! So, the deal did not hold. All that the Reichspakt did early on to bolster the Co-Pro has just been removed, and we are immediately seeing that Ukraine is going to be giving up a massive portion of their country, sitting behind the lines here. They've got reserves throughout the swamps. Those are mostly Austrians, and a couple of troops up here. So yeah, the Germans are expecting to give away a large portion of the territory. We've got Russians ready to go after Finland, and that's going to be a bad thing for Sweden because the Third Internationale do have a lot of troops in this region. They are actually in supply, so they're not struggling from that. We have some Bulgarian Mechanized coming in. I want to know what those are. Bulgarian Mechanized. Whoa, okay, those are some hefty units. Mostly mechanized. They're going to be very defensive. Super, super defensive with heavy tank destroyers. 864 defense, 391 heavy attack, 97 piercing. That's going to be enough to basically face off against any heavy stuff that can be thrown at them. And they will just sit there and they will not leave. They'll be just like, this is ours now. Alright, I need to know. I've looked at their stuff. I'm going to just take a quick look at modern subs. Yeah, Ireland's using the new stuff. That early submarine research is going to be paying off. And if we just take a quick look at the Irish submarine deployment, they are just flooding this area. Fleets of 4. What's your admiral like? He's a level 3 spotter, concealment expert, smokescreen specialist, not a Seawolf yet. And in fact, he has quite a long way to go before Seawolf. But concealment expert and smokescreen, very important traits to get. So definitely on board with what they've done there. Have they been cycling admirals? No, they literally start with the guy. Okay. I mean, spotter on submarines is good. It means you can find those convoys more easily and then sink them.